Hello and welcome to the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show. My name is Jeff Gamble. It's Indianapolis, Indiana. And today we're going over law number 3, the law of process. I'm going to send out this message here real quick to bring on Bess. And we will get rolling. How is everyone? Good morning to some, good afternoon to others. Larry. And that scrolled through my phone instead of, there we go. Bess is here. Denise is with us. Hello.
Hey everyone. Good day, good day. Is it rainy where you are? It's kind of a rainy day here, a cloudy-ish day. I wonder what it's like where you are. Would you type in, just to check in with our weather for you all, would you type in if it's rainy or sunny where you are? Today, Law of the Process, law number 3 of the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. We are Bess McCarty of the MLM Millionaire Club School for Network Marketers, making network marketing simple, strength of MLM. And Jeffrey David Gamble of Line Leadership Network, also a certified John Maxwell trainer, speaker, and teacher. We love to come together, partner, and bring you these generic trainings every lunch. Have lunch with us and learn leadership and get your personal development in every day. And you can find us on the Facebook group. You can find this show and more on the Facebook group, MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show. Our purpose: to help people grow, to educate, equip, and empower entrepreneurs and create independent servant leaders. So what is the law of the process, Jeff?
So guys, law of process, it says leadership is learned over time. Leaders are always learners, so it's constantly growing. Valerie's with us and Shawana's with us. Welcome, welcome. It says learning the law of process. It says leadership develops daily, not in a day. So leadership is a lot like investing. It actually compounds over time. And it's interesting, John actually says this is kind of like change in your pocket. Consistently, as you go through the process, you're constantly getting these deposits. And your overall goal is to build a large account of deposits, positive deposits. Now, the interesting thing is as you become consistent and as you track what you do, you actually keep depositing money in, and what happens is it starts compounding over time, simply because other people recognize that you know what you're doing. Other people recognize that you're committed. Other people recognize that you're responsible, which is some of the 21 qualities of a leader. We talked about that on day 1. People see the commitment. People see the competence that you know what you're doing. People see the focus. And because they start seeing these things by you depositing every single day, and going through the process, meaning you're, attending a show like this, you're reading a book, you're putting out a quote, in MLM, you're actually going out and contacting somebody and inviting somebody to what you do, and you're constantly bringing on a new person. These are things that people actually see. Lori's with us. Hello. So leadership is a lot like investing. It starts compounding over time. People start recognizing it. Social proof. People see that you're succeeding, and as you do, your leadership level grows. How do you learn this law? One of the things is start subscribing to maybe John's YouTube channel. Start subscribing to our YouTube channel, the Lunchtime Leadership Show, if you haven't seen all of these, and walk through each one of these lessons and walk through each one of these laws and start understanding, first of all, the 21 laws. Another good one is understand the 21 qualities of a leader. Start investing in the books. Engage in the program of actually learning every day. So, one of the best ways to actually learn the law of process is actually by doing it. Physically, there's 3 things that we talk about in our basics class. Number 1, when it comes to personal development, number 1, it's listen and watch. And number 2, it's actually read. And number 3, it's associate with good people who are moving forward. And there's so many great programs out there. I would just say pick one. you know, pick one and start in and commit to it. We have a group of people who've committed to the Quick Start Basics. They're going to go through a 12-week program and go through these 10 core. We go through 5. We then take a break on the 6th week and actually recap the first 5, answer questions, and then we go through the next 5. And then this next week, you know, not this coming Sunday, but the following Sunday, we'll actually recap again, go over the entire program, give out certificates, graduation, and then move on again to roll through this again, because people are asking, well, why are you doing the 21 laws again? It's because you want repetition over and over and over again with the basic skills. So that is kind of the first part of, you know, learning the law of basics, and, you know, what it is, and then how to actually go through it and learn. Is I found tracking is the best way to figure, you know, the best way to actually see that you're actually moving forward with this. Track it over a period of time. Can you be consistent? Consistency leads to commitment, leads to discipline, leads to responsibility. Those are all things that kind of go together. So if you're all over the place, actually tracking what you're doing, tracking your personal development every day. Jim Rohn says how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you start tracking personal development every day and you get that down and you start growing every day and your commitment's there, what we'll see is that'll transfer into you actually contacting people, presenting, following up, and eventually you get to the point where you consistently are signing people up. So with that, I'm going to turn this back over to Bess for some thoughts and insights on the law of process.
Thanks, Jeff. Also, if you're watching the replay, we'd love if you type in replay. And if you're getting value, we'd love if you like, comment, share, tag, share to another networking group so other people could get benefit too. Really appreciate that. I want to say hi to Kareem, Adrian, Vicky, Shauna, Thomas, Sumit, Roxanne, and Joyce. Whenever you guys come on, I just get the best feeling like, wow, this is our tribe. We're all in a tribe of people committed to better leadership. And as John Maxwell says, everything rises and falls on leadership. So I have been training myself and telling myself, remember, Bess, it's about the process, not the product. Enjoy the journey. No, don't be so attached to the destination. Enjoy who I become on the way and appreciate that that's what it's really all for. And as a teacher and a coach, it's the people that I'm contacting, even as now we're making contact with a lot of people, hundreds of people that are interested in our Sunday night basics class. I'm doing a lot of marketing right now. And I'm realizing it's the people that we touch in the process of marketing that's just as important as any end product or anything like that. And as you're talking with people about your business and network marketing, it's the exchange that happens on the way, whether or not they get into you become a customer or distributor with you on your team, whether or not there's some exchange that happened. You got to be out there. You got to be in touch with another human being, another person who cares and feels and has joys and challenges and troubles and everything. And you got to interact with them a little bit that day. Maybe made a big difference in their life. Forget about, as Lisa Grossman the other day on a video, she goes, forget about the comp plan. Just go out and connect with people. You'll be successful in the process if you do that. But the joy of the process itself rather than the product or the journey instead of the destination, I'm reminding myself and enjoying the fact that I'm having contact, in my own prospecting for the class, because I'm not in a network marketing company. It's the same thing. And then my own enjoyment of prospecting for the class, miraculous, really cool conversations are happening. And some of these people just aren't ready yet, and some are, but regardless, there's a shift and a change. And I know that some of you are on here right now with us. And haven't we had an interchange where I can learn something from you and you can learn something from me? And they say that every single person you encounter, you could ask you should, I'll say could, ask yourself, what can I share with you? What can I give to you? And what can I learn from you? It said that if you don't do those two things with every single encounter, that you're missing out on what it could have been. So, and who was it? Jim Rohn or somebody said it's not You know, it's the person you become in the process that's really the important thing. I think the carrot out there in front of the horse is the means to get the horse to exercise or whatever. And the goals that we have seem to be a means for us to grow in the process. I mean, thank goodness that hunger is a reoccurring thing and our bills are reoccurring, because otherwise we would just sit at home maybe and not give to the world, not give service to the world. But life makes us, our hunger makes us go out, and we have to work for our food. In other words, work meaning serve other people, help other people. So thank goodness for this, for our hunger, for our needs. It makes us happier people than if we were just to sit at home and not serving. And that compounding effect, that saving and the compounding of investing. I actually just looked that up about, because I heard that if you double a penny a day, what happens to it? Guess. Before I tell you, write in what you think a penny doubled every day will end up being in 30 days. I dare you, I challenge you to type that in. Just take a wild guess. A penny doubled every day. What will you have in 30 days? Because that's the way it is in network marketing, especially. You get this residual income. It's so clear. So a penny doubled every day. The first day makes you have 2 cents, right? And then you do more work in network marketing and more work in network marketing, and you bring people in and you talk to people and you talk to people every day. On day 7, you actually have $1.28 in your pocket. Wow, from all that work, a week's worth of work, you made $1.28. Right. Okay, but you keep talking to people, and it keeps doubling and it keeps doubling, and that residual income starts to kick in. On day 14, now this looks kind of decent. Okay, I've got $163.84 on day 14. Now, that's not so bad. Now I think I'm starting to see some results come from all my work for all those 14 days. Guess what you have on day 21? Okay, $100. Okay, good. Somebody guessed. Raymond guessed. All right, good for you for guessing. Good for you. Anybody else take a guess what you're going to get by day 30? Well, we already know that by day 14, Raymond, we have $163.84. Okay, so you go out and you go, okay, maybe there's something to this network marketing thing. Maybe there's something to this business. Maybe I can actually one day, make a living off it. Who knows? So you go out and you talk to more people and you talk to more people and talk to more people. In the meantime, your money is doubling every day. That's real powerful, you guys. Guess what you have on day 21? $20,000. That's where you go, whoa, this stuff works. $20,000, $971.52 to be specific, you got in your pocket. And so you keep talking to people, you keep doubling that penny, you keep doubling your amount every day. By day 30, you have 10 million. 30 days, penny doubled every day, $10 million, $737,418.20. So that's the compound interest that Jeff was talking about, investing. You talk to people, they hear about you, they refer somebody to you, and over time they see your commitment, they see your character, they see your sincerity, and they start knowing, liking, and trusting, or referring, or believing, or role modeling after you, and this compounds. And nowhere is it stronger, I think, than in network marketing, because you have that residual income. So in the beginning, it said that you work for just about nothing. You don't see a great return, but then you start seeing, it's starting to come back. Then you start getting paid kind of what you feel like you're worth. And then, as we've heard, before, like from one of my clients and friends, she said, it's ridiculous. And now as a six-figure earner, multi-six-figure earner, what we get paid for how little we do. So that comes from the investment and the delayed gratification of working in the beginning. Same with our personal growth. You hop on here every day with us for lunch, a whole lot of you do. That's your 1% increase a day. And over a year, you have 365. But I think it compounds. I think it's like personal growth is really like that penny. And I'll turn it back to Jeff for now.
Awesome. Great analogy to kind of show the penny doubling every day. I really like the investment chart. A lot of people are like, but I'm behind, I'm this, I'm that. And I'm like, if you understand compounding interest, if you understand the rule of 72, And the rule of 7-2 is every 7 years, your actual investment will double based on a 10% interest rate. So there's a chart actually that shares this. Travis is with us. What's happening, sir? So there's actually a chart that actually shows that $200 a month. So when people were like, well, you know, that network marketing thing is only, you know, $300 or only $200. Well, the reality is you can actually build $1 million account if you start early. And it shows at age 19, somebody start investing $2,000 a year, which is about $180 a month. If they do it from 19 to 26, they've invested $27,000 plus interest and compounding interest, and that will eventually turn into a little over $2 million by the age of 65. As opposed to the person that starts late. The person who starts all the way at 27 years old has to keep investing that $2,000 over and over and over and over again every single year. But either way, you can get to over $1 million in an account by the age of 65 by doing it. Now, think about direct sales in network marketing is what if you start early? What if you get in and actually make this happen and, you know, not only start early, but rather than $180, what if it was $1,800? You know, which isn't a tremendous amount of money, but it's a tremendous amount of money to save every single month. It's a tremendous amount of money to invest every single month. What if you could get to $4,800? You know, putting away almost $5,000, $60,000 a year. You know, imagine 2 years back to back, you put over 100 grand. If this rule stays consistent and you're just able to do that. So one of my mentors, I'll just kind of give you his formula. He said, look, we're only spending $4,000 a month. $4,000 a month is our budget until we have $1 million in the bank. Now he started making really good money, so he was able to accomplish that in under a year. When you make over 100 grand a month, it happens really fast, right? So he said 4 grand. He said, we'll raise it to 5 grand until we get to $3 million. A couple months later, he hit that. Then he raised it all the way to 6 grand until they had $5 million. And eventually he raised it to 10 grand once they hit 5 million until they had $10 million in the bank. He put $10 million away. And then at that point, he did something stupid like buy a 60-foot yacht, which you can do when you have that kind of money. He said, we've made enough now that we can put this away. We can put this money away and we will never, ever in our family, if we put it in the right place and we consistently earn interest out of it, we'll never have to go back. Because think about it. The rule of 72, if you put 10 million somewhere that earns 10% interest, that means every 7 years it will double. So 10, 20, 40, 60, 100. So the interesting thing was I had this conversation, and I hope the reason I'm talking numbers, which, you know, it bores some people but hits other people, is typically we're talking about people, which affects a big group out there because of personalities. But if you talk money, it's going to hit a certain group. So he put this money away. Eventually he got to the point and he had this conversation where we were talking. He goes, today I live off of 5% of what the interest my money makes me. Somebody, like, it took me a minute. I was like, what did he just say? And I wrote out the formula. He lives off of 5% off the interest that his money makes. So first of all, he has this group of money. It makes interest. And every single month he lives off of 5% of what that number is. That's a different way to budget. So how did he do that? He had to have a process every single day of his daily method of operation to be able to do this. Sarah's with us. Tracy's with us. How are you guys? Paul jumped on. There's a bunch of people here. Lona, Kevin Chambers. If I missed anybody, we'll catch up here in a minute. Hi, Sarah. So that's how one of my mentors built. And we were kind of doing the math. I was like, well, to be able to afford the yacht and to be able to, he told me it cost $30,000 to gas up the yacht, just to put gas in it, not the rest of the maintenance, $30,000 just to fill the tank. I can't remember, it had like a 6,000 gallon tank or something stupid. And, you know, boat fuel is a little bit different than regular fuel, I guess. I mean, I don't know how all that works, but there was an engine guy that worked on everything that came out. But when I was doing the math and dividing it all out, I was like, that number out there of what his investment has to be over $100 million by this point. So that's a really different way to look at things. Now, here's the interesting thing. He started as a network marketer, just like us. He started in the field. He built a company, did well, got asked to come on to another company, built all the way up, was the top rep, top distributor, ended up becoming, you know, in corporate, became the CEO, sold that company, went into another company, and today he owns a company today. So it's really interesting, you know, if you know how to do something once, you can turn around and do it again, you can turn around and do it again, you can turn around and do it again. But it gives a different perspective. So there's 5 phases of leadership. Number 1, I don't know what I don't know. When you first get in, you don't know what to say, and you don't know who to say it to, and you don't know the process, and you don't know the pattern. And that's why Bess and I have come together and actually put the Quick Start Basic class together. That's the reason, because what I realize is when I talk to most people, they're like, well, I'm going out and talking to people, but my question is what are you saying? Where are you leading people to? Are you just winging it? Hey, get in. Well, then what do? Well, they're going to wing it. You know, the scariest thing in network marketing is when a new person is talking to a new person. Why? Because this person doesn't know anything, and this person's telling this person everything they know. They know nothing. So what information is transferring? Hey, I think we should do this. Well, I think we should do this. Well, I think we should do this. And those two people confuse each other. Then they go out into the field and try to convince others to come on board with their confusion. That doesn't work real well. What you want to do is you want to find people who know how to do this, who know the language, who are able to do it consistently over and over and over again in the field, and you bring them onto your team and teach them what to do. 2, I know that I need to know. You know, when you get to the point where you're like, you know what, my way really isn't working that well, I need some coaching. I need some training. I need some help, because I've talked to people, but I'm not getting the reaction everybody else is getting. I'm not getting the signups. I'm not getting the customers. I'm not moving forward. Here it is, another month or another convention. It's really bad when you go to another convention. It's really bad when you go to another convention and you're by yourself, solo again. You know, you're Han Solo here at the convention and you're looking around for Chewie and nobody's there. You know, you're by yourself. And the worst thing is when you're at the convention by yourself again and you look over and the person who mentally you made fun of is walking across the stage. I mean, that's where I was just like, okay, that guy made it. I mean, I met this guy and I was like, he was totally clueless, had no idea. I met him at this first convention. I mean, he couldn't even find his seat. He could not find his seat. He's like, I don't even know, like, I have a ticket, and I'm like, oh yeah, this guy's gonna do well. And then the next convention, I'm by myself. Here he is walking across the stage, woo, you know, brand new. And I can't remember the level in the company, but he had hit that big level in the company. And I was just like, what the? He figured out the process and I was still doing the hokey pokey. I'm one hand in and one hand out, and then I'll stick my foot in and see what happens. And then I turn around and nobody's there again. I had to figure out a process. 3, I know what I don't know. I know that I need help. I know that's where, I mean, if you get to 3 and you're like, I know I need help. I know this isn't working for me. I'm in. I mean, here's a good factor. If you can put, if the number of years you've been in a company exceeds the number of people on your team. Like, I've been in 2 years and I don't have 2 people on my team. I've been in 7 years and I don't have 7 active people on my team. If the number of years exceeds the number of people on your team, you need help. I mean, I'm just going to be brutally honest. You need help. You know, you may just, here's the thing. It could be one word. It could be one word you're using. It could be a phrase. It could be a mindset thing. Like Bess says, it could be a breakthrough thing. There may be a block. It may be nothing wrong with you. You may just be like sabotaging yourself and you don't even know it. So that's why, if that's the case, you need to talk with somebody. You'd be like, okay, this is, I'm excited. I'm going to the events. This is not working for me. And part of it is you're not working it. You know, there's a difference between being in and, you know, working it and it not working versus I'm in and I'm not doing anything. If you're in and not doing anything, then doing something is the problem. But what are you going to go out and do? Is it streamlined? Is it focused? Is it a pattern? Is it something you have memorized where you can be like, well, first we do this, second we do this, third we do this, fourth, you know, and here's exactly what to say and here's exactly how to follow up. Because if you can't give people, watch this, if you can't give people exact directions, typically they're not going to get started with you. Why? Well, the reason they're probably not going to get started with you is because if you don't know what you're doing, how are you going to help them? I don't know. I'm just struggling through, figuring it out, you know, and that's what we talk about, some of those phrases to use and some of this process to go through. So 4, I know and I grow. So John eventually found a plan. So he actually met with this guy who came over to his house when he was very early on, and he asked John Maxwell. This is before John had written any books. This is before John had done all the seminars. John was a pastor, and he asked John, he's like, John, what is your plan for growth? And John said, man, I told him I was excited, and I told him I loved life, and I told him what my attitude was. And he goes, and I just kept talking. And after about 15 minutes, this guy looked over and goes, John, you don't have a plan, do you? He's like, no. He's like, no, I don't have a plan. And he's like, well, I would suggest this plan. And it just so happened that it was a course through LMI, Leadership Management Institute, which was actually designed by Paul J. Myers, a billionaire, when he actually passed away. At the age of 80, Paul J. Myers actually made more at the age of 80 than he did in his first 79 years of life. I thought that was pretty decent. Or I'm sorry, the first 50 years of life. First 50 years of life. It was like something like $140 million that year. That's pretty good. Now, he did sell an $80 million piece of real estate, so that helped. But where did the other $60 million came? Well, it came from the other 50 companies that he owned and operated. So that works out. So I know when I grow and it starts to show. So that's where the compounding starts coming in. That's where people, you might not notice it, but other people will notice it in you. They'll be like, you know what? You seem to be different. The messages on your Facebook page are different. The people you seem to be around are different. Your results are different. That's what you want. You want some different stuff happening. And then 5, I simply go because of what I know. You simply move forward. You simply start succeeding because of what you know, and you know you're doing the right thing, and it just happens no matter where you're at or what you're doing. So living the law. What is my plan for growth? That's the first question you have to ask. What is your exact plan for growth? I have an exact plan. I'm reading these books each month. I spend this much time. I take notes. I email them to myself. I have this many conversations. I have mentors in kind of each category. So, you know, one person might have a coach for their whole life, but some people have a coach for each area of their life. They have a business coach, and then they have a professional speakers coach, and then they have maybe a athletic coach. Because just because a coach is in one area, you know, some people get specific coaches for each area. In the beginning, you might just need somebody to start with, you know, get through the blocks, get through the, you know, breakages, and actually design out a plan. That would be good. 2, plan and reflect daily. So then it becomes about tracking. So once you get a plan, then you start tracking. If it's worth doing, it's worth writing down. I don't know if Tony said that. One of the people, or I read that somewhere. If it's worth doing, it's worth writing down. If it's not worth doing, then you don't have a plan. Because most people's plan is so generic and so terrible, it's not worth writing down because it's not really a plan to begin with. It's kind of a circumstantial, you know, hey, today I'm going to read a whole book, and tomorrow I'm going to do nothing. That's not a good plan. 3, John says, read his book, Today Matters. Today Matters. I know one of the principles in it is, you know, success happens daily, which he talks about this lesson. But also, you know, a lot of people don't think one day makes a difference. One day makes a difference. One day can make a difference. Because obviously one day of not going out could miss the person that should have come onto your team that would have changed everything. 4, what am I going to commit to? What am I going to commit to? Once I have the plan, what am I going to commit to on this plan? Am I going to commit to all of it, part of it, some of it? Learning the law of process. It says list words or phrases that indicate an opportunity to teach the law of process. Typically, you hear, oh, I've been in this for a while and nothing's happening. I'm not getting to where I want to go. I just don't know why people aren't getting in. I don't know why I'm not succeeding. A lot of it's I don't know. I mean, think about it. I don't know, which was, you know, let's go back to his 5 phases of leadership. I don't know what I don't know. That's how, it's funny that they'll actually start out with the actual words, I don't know. You know, the rest of us know. The rest of us know that you don't know. The people you're trying to recruit know that you don't know. That's part of the problem. You need to know. So once you figure that out, and once you hear yourself saying that, that's a good time to start reflecting and be like, I need somebody, I need help. So that goes into help people develop. Help people develop from the inside out. From the inside out. So good friend of mine that I recruited and I brought on my team, he really wanted to make this work. So over a period of time, we started talking about, you know, what he was doing and what he was reading. And I got him to start reading, right? Which was a trick because he did not like reading. He's listened to a lot of audios at first. I said, good. Here's the audios. Start taking notes. Why should I take notes? I'm like, to remember, to reflect, so you can go back, so you can track what you're doing. Okay, I'll take. It took me a while. He started taking notes. And then I'm like, and it'd be a good idea to read. I hate reading. I hate this. I said, good. Start with something really, really simple. Really simple, like The Little Train That Could. No, I didn't recommend that. I recommended Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I based it on his personality. I was like, okay, so you're a money, you're a numbers guy. I'm like, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So he read that. He was like, I mean, his eyes, I remember the first time I met him after he actually picked up the book and read, his eyes were like this, like caffeined out, like, oh my God, I stayed up, I read this book, you know, it's the best book. I was like, I know. I was like, there's more stuff out there than that.
Oh, I see.
So then we went through another book, and he really started like, he's like, oh my gosh, it's starting, you know, all the principles weren't sinking in, but some of them were. All of a sudden he started succeeding. We got the pattern down. We got the process down. Here's how we're going to recruit. It's, you know, contact. It's a lead system. The lead system, here's exactly what to say to the lead. Here's how to pre-qualify. Here's how to actually present to them. Here's how to book the appointment. And we just walk through step by step. Here's exactly what to do once you have this down. And we went over that pattern again and again and again and again. And here's the thing. He's like, oh, you just keep telling me the same thing. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Heidi. Rich Dad, Poor Dad was the first book that I had him read by Robert Kiyosaki. Eventually he got it down. I mean, he had it down. He knew it. And eventually I started having him repeat it back. Oh my gosh, you're asking me the same thing. Yeah, because the basics are the most important thing. If you don't know how to say it out loud, memorize to be able to train somebody else, you can't really train somebody else. It's hard. You want to have it memorized. You just want it in the back of your head. So we got it down. He started succeeding. And it really was from the inside out. Eventually, I'm like, you know what? Do you think the construction look is good? Because he basically wore jeans. He wore, you know, construction boots, you know, the brown, like suede boots and a t-shirt. And I'm like, this is really good if you want to be a WWF star. He was a bigger guy. He's like 6'4", about 275, 285 when I met him. He was a former point guard for the Polish national basketball team. So he went from, you know, 225, 230, tall, 6'4", you know, 6'4.5", to, you know, putting on all the muscle. So now he looks like a WWF wrestler. And he sounded like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm like, you're kind of intimidating. I'm like, maybe we should. So eventually we went from just working on the inside to actually working on the outside and actually changing, you know, I'm like, might be nice to look like you're not going to bash somebody with a chair if they say no. Or suplex them in the middle of the restaurant. And he was like, yeah, I guess that would be it. So we went out and changed how we look. All of a sudden, because we had changed from the inside out, dressing differently made sense. I was like, remember those changes that they talk about in the books? That would be a good idea. Oh, yeah. So we made those changes. So help people develop from the inside out, to be bigger on the inside than on the outside. You know, if it's all flash, I think my friend said that, Sean. He's like, if it's all flash, they probably have no cash. He's like, I would rather be wealthy. I would rather be wealthy and stay wealthy than look like I have money. I was like, ooh, that's good. I'd rather have the money. He's like, look, we're not flashy, but we're rich. I was like, that's a good way to go. 3, the secret of our success is discovered in our daily agenda. We talk about the DMO, daily method of operation. What are you doing every day? What is your agenda? And here's the great thing. If you track it, you can figure out where you went wrong. If you track it, you can figure out where you're slacking. If you track it, I know exactly how to help you. Any coach does. The trick is to track it. What are you doing? Same thing with financing. You know, I talked to it. I mean, this is crazy. I talked to a lady yesterday. That was actually the call during our call. You know, we were talking about referrals, and in the middle of the Facebook Live, I got cut off because I was getting a referral. Talked to the lady. She makes amazing money. $114,000 is her salary. Her husband makes 50-something, 54, 55. So combined income together, the two of them, they make almost, actually they do, they make $170,000 a year, which isn't too bad living in Indiana. And she's like, I'm disorganized. I'm disorganized. I forget to pay things. I'm all over the place. So you think You think that it's impossible at your level to get to 6 figures and beyond, and you have to be perfect. Man, this person was all over the place. But it's possible to figure things out. She goes, I really just need to find somebody who can show me exactly what to do to automate some of the things I'm bad at, so that way I never make this kind of mistake again, because we were helping her out with some financial stuff. Isn't that interesting? $114,000. Like, what is your profession? She gave me her profession, her background, and everything. And I was like, wow, amazing. I won't even get into that. So there was some scary things, because I was like, man, if you're just like, based on what you do, that freaks me out. But great person. We're able to help her. And right before this call, she was like, so is this what I sign up for? I'm like, yeah, that's the one. So she was actually signing up as I was signing on. So with that, I'm going to kind of sign off and give this back to Bess for any closing thoughts on the law of process. And we will wrap this up. And you guys have a good day.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. Just want to say hi to Kevin, Laura, Travis, Aviva, Jacqueline, Steve, Roy, and Heidi. And, Jeff was mentioning a little bit ago about 10% interest rates. They're not there at this time in this economy, at this time anyway. So, but you have network marketing. And I think, how long would it take to save $1 million to be able to live off that interest, or several $1 million to be able to live off that interest, to earn a few thousand a month, versus how long will it take you to build your network marketing business to a few thousand a month, and live off that. So network marketing is such a great answer in this economy, but we need to delay gratification. We need to be patient, and definitely need to do your P's a day. I call them P's, presentations. So if you don't have a lot of extra money to save right now, save what you can, invest what you can, of course. But invest your time and your energy. Do those P's a day. Can you do at least 2 presentations a day? And can you write that down and track it and commit to doing that, and not go to bed till they're done? Then you can see your track record of how many that you do. That will add up in your bank account of experience and gradually create that residual income in network marketing. So one example of loving the process is my dog, Charlie. Every morning, he's like a 15-year-old dog, but he's like a little pup, and he's real healthy because of the good diet that we eat. We both eat. But every morning we play. He gets his aerobic time every day. And so I throw his favorite toy that he's loved for 15 years, and I keep sewing it back together and everything. But he chases that toy. Is the goal the toy? No, because he keeps bringing it back and surrendering the prize. The prize is, oh, I got that toy. But he brings it back and he surrenders it to me again so I can throw it again, because he loves the process. He loves the chase. He loves being a dog and pretending he's out in a field catching a rabbit or something like that, or catching a mouse to eat. But he's a domestic dog, lives inside, but he still has that instinct and still needs to play. He still needs to do that process of being a dog, and he loves it. I mean, every morning we do the same thing. We get out the toy and we squeak the toy and throw the toy until he's tired. Then I wait a little bit, and then we have another round until he gets tired again. But he gets his aerobic time in. I was just thinking, it's the chase that he loves. It's the process. It's not getting that thing, because he keeps giving up the prize so that he can chase again and again and again. So that's a great example of loving the process. So as how to apply this law of process in your life, especially for personal growth. As Jeff said, create your personal growth plan. Hop on us at lunchtime every day. That's one of the easiest plans I know. Come have lunch with us, or breakfast if that's where you are. In California or Hawaii, hop on with us every day, or watch the replays while you eat your lunch at work. And then create or provide opportunities for your team. As a leader, provide growth opportunities for your team. Like Jeff just did, suggest a great book that you just read, and tell your team about it. Tell them about this. Tell them about this MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show that they can hop on here too. Some people in our Sunday night class are telling their team about that class, so they can hop on and get the skills and the mindset and the growth that happens in that. And then, so that's how you create a culture in your team of growth, personal growth. People say, of course, that network marketing is really a personal growth course disguised as a career. And it really is who we become on the way. It's even more important than all the money and title and ranks and all this stuff that we get. People have said, our marriage has improved being in network marketing. I'm a better person. I'm a better mate, friend, parent, neighbor, community member as a result of network marketing. I say the same for me. When I was in it, it was great training for me as a person, and so many other things too. So let's see, Robert, about the donkey released again from my mind. I'll have to read that later, Rob, Mihai, because my won't let me read all of it here, but thank you. Anybody have a question? And Mihai always drops in these inspirational thoughts for us, so I'd love for you to do that. I'll go ahead and read the whole thing later. Anybody have a question, a thought, an inspiration? How do you learn from process? How do you ensure your own process? How do you delay gratification? How do you be patient? How do you appreciate and give yourself the time to grow as a person and not rush yourself or other people? That's part of the process too, recognizing the time that it takes. Jeff messaged me late last night. He and his girlfriend were in the gym working on legs last night, and they're there just about every night working out. That does not happen in a day. It happens over time. You know, both of them are very fit and powerful people in their body. And as a body-mind therapist, I know that what we do in our body happens in our body-mind. I personally am fit and flexible. That's what I do as my exercise routine. But these things don't happen in a day. They happen over the days and over time. So we want to be consistent. Number one, be consistent and do them. Personal growth, presentations, exercise, health, eating right, all that stuff. And then be patient for the cumulative effect that shows up. For me, people like with health and everything, people my age, you know, I'm not on any medications or like all my high school classmates and people that I know, you know, and I'm very healthy and happy, and so that all pays off from a lifetime of eating good and doing definitely my personal spiritual growth work every day. So hope to be a role model, and that you each can be a role model for your team, because we're talking about network marketing now, but even if in parent or anything, they're looking at you and they're following you as a role model. You can be an inspiration. You can show people, hey, it's worth doing this over time because it matters. You know, after a few years, it matters to be wealthy, healthy, happy, wise, and free. So if you're not a member yet of our MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show, we invite you to come over there. Last chance, any questions, comments, insights? I'd love to hear them. I'll turn it back to Jeff here.
Guys, that's a wrap. That's what we do every single day, Monday through Friday. We actually go over one of the laws of the 21 laws of leadership, and we give some insights, just experience, you know, things that I've done. You know, I've been able to recruit a lot of people. I've been able to build teams. I've been able to coach and help a lot of people. So that's what we do and how we do it. So appreciate everybody for joining us. Appreciate everybody for jumping on. And we will talk to everybody tomorrow, same place, same time. Lunchtime Leadership. Bess has one more thing to share, so I'll turn it back to her for closing thoughts.
Law number 4, law of navigation. So you can't just steer. You got to chart a course, and also you can't steer a parked car, so you have to be moving too. But the law of navigation, where are you going? That's tomorrow, everybody.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Have a great day.